Hi class, this is the week 1 overview video, and this brief video will just give you some useful tips and information on how to navigate through the week 1 assignments. From class home, you will click on the week 1 tab and it brings up week 1 here. There is a link getting started with VitalSource and ebooks. If you haven't set up materials through ebooks before, this link gives you information on how to do that. Each week below that, there is something called objectives and competencies. Each week we'll have 3 to 4 objectives or things that we hope to accomplish and learn by the end of the week. So for example, this week, the number 1 objective listed there is being able to define critical thinking. We want to, at the end of this week, have students be able to explain and give a definition of what critical thinking is. You'll notice by each objective, if you hover over that objective, lower under the learning activities and required readings, it will show you where that objective appears in the materials. So if you get to the end of week 1 and you think, gosh, I'm not sure how to distinguish between the content of thought and the process of thinking critically, wasn't sure where that was in the reading, I must have missed it. If you hover over that objective, you can see that it's in chapter 7 and also in the week 1 Gamescape. So it'll highlight it below. And as you flip through these, it'll show you where these other objectives appear so that you know what you need to look at to learn those things and make sure that you're meeting and understanding all the required objectives. Um, Under learning activities, there are required elements that need to be completed. These are our course readings. We're going to be taking our reading primarily in this course from 3 different textbooks, and here it'll list the name of the textbook and let you know what chapter to read. And so if we click on that, the instructions are basically to read chapter 1. We can simply click on reading, and if you click on this external content launch, it will pull you exactly up to the chapter that you need to be reading. So you just simply click on that, it'll open VitalSource and it'll open up your ebook and you'll be able to read right from there. Each week under our readings, there'll be a discussion on the learning activity, and I will post a first message that gets the discussion going. If you click on the first message, it'll pull up the questions that I've asked students to respond to. You can respond to all of these, some of these. You can add a different comment on the reading if you got something else out of the reading. It's simply a way to get our discussion going. In order to reply to this message, you simply click on this arrow here, reply. It'll open up a new box. If you are changing the discussion or if your message is talking about one particular item, you can name it something different. So sponge thinking versus panning for gold. Maybe I want to talk about what the differences are in that. So I can simply type in here and put my response. You're able to type your message in here. You can spell check it by using this little ABC with a check mark. That'll help you spell check. You can bold, underline, all the traditional things that you might see in Word. And then to post, you would just click right there. I'm going to discard this one since I'm not posting it, but that is how you respond to discussion questions. You do have the option of creating a new message on your own. I would encourage you to only do this if you're bringing up a different point from the reading that hasn't been included in the discussion already. To make our discussion organized, it's good to keep materials that are about the same thing under the same thread. So I would just say, unless you're adding something different, respond to the initial thread. If you are and you want to post a new message, that is completely fine. Be sure that you give it a name so that we know what you're talking about. So instead of just saying chapter 1 or critical thinking, expand on that. What element or aspect of chapter 1 are you going to be discussing? And give that as the title so students know what they're clicking into. So that's the first reading. To get back to that list of activities, just click on week 1 again and scroll and you'll see the next 3 readings that are required for the week. Also under here is the week one Gamescape. For those of you who haven't used Gamescape before, it's an interactive game-like tutorial. To get to it, again, there'll be two links up here, one with the instructions and one with the tutorial, and you will launch the external content. It'll pull up a new window, and then it will take you through the game. If you have any questions on this, don't hesitate to ask. Also, if you're having any technical issues, I strongly encourage you to call technical support. They're the experts on that, on how to get Gamescape going in various systems depending on what computer you have and how it's compatible with the Gamescape. So that is how you would get on Gamescape. Again, there's discussion under it. You would click on the question and reply in the same way as you would for the others. So the only unique thing here under week one is this participation requirements link. And this is something that I've written for you all so that you know exactly what's required of participation. Participation in this class is worth 8 points each week, which is 40% of your overall grade. So it's a substantial portion of your grade. In addition to that, it's a great way to practice your critical thinking and communication skills. So it's really important that you're aware of what's required and what's expected. And if you look through here, I've covered things as far as can I start a new discussion thread? What is a substantive posting? Grammar, spelling, word count, all of those things. So any questions, please read through this first. If you have additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. All right, so that's the required activities for week one. Recommended, I've included a chat room, which is optional. I put this in each week just so if you want to share something with the class or just discuss something that's not course content related, you can do that. If we were in a face-to-face class, I would consider this something as maybe saying hi or bye at the end or beginning of class. Just something that you can do if you want to connect with classmates. But again, it's optional. These things wouldn't count as participation posts because they aren't related to the course content. So don't post a bunch of things under here thinking that it's participation. It's just an optional place that we can connect and discuss things with each other. So that takes us to assignments. Under assignments for week one participation, really there's nothing to click on here. It just gives you an overview to say participate in class. So that is all that's there. That would just be those 8 substantive posts under the required activities. Next is the Stages of Critical Thinking worksheet. This is our written assignment for the week. And if we click on this, here's the step-by-step instructions. This is the link to the worksheet that you will be filling in. And this is the link to the grading rubric. Now, the grading rubric is not something that you fill in. It's something that I fill in. I'm giving it to you so that you can see what I'm looking for in the assignment. And I will click on that really quickly and see if I can get it to open up here. Let me go to that. So this shows you how the points are going to break down. It shows you that a description of the 4 stages is going to be worth 2 points. An explanation that's at least 75 words is going to be 2 points. And your readability and style are going to be 1 point. And that's going to get you to this total of 5 overall points for that assignment. So again, each week I have the grading rubric included as an attachment. It's not something you fill in, it's something I fill in, but I want to provide it to you so that you know what's going to be expected of you. All right, going back to week one, under the assignments, the last thing here listed is the Gamescape assessment. So up here is where the Gamescape is and where we have our discussion on it. If you scroll down for the Gamescape assessment, there are instructions that tell you what need to be done for the Gamescape assessment. So just because you complete the game in Gamescape, you still need to submit the results as an attachment and an assignment here. And so this is where you would do that. Again, there's a grading rubric so you can know what we're looking for in the Gamescape assessment as we go ahead and grade what you're going to be writing in there. But when you're in Gamescape, you'll complete the game and it'll also give you options to answer questions. When you are answering these questions, this is something that I will get and see. And so you want to use proper grammar and spelling. It's academic work, so you want to use it just as if you were typing a paper to use complete sentences and be sure to follow all the instructions. So that is an overview of what we have in week one. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to ask me. You can post a message via private message or in the class messages section if you're not sure what is needed for the week. And I look forward to working through week one with you. Thanks.